Hey guys. Hello, beautiful people. Look at me. I'm here. All right, cool. Make sure your cameras are back on. 5:40, ready to go. Juliana, get off your phone. I'm just kidding. Just messing with you. All right. You guys good? Tell me if you're good. Throw something in the chat real quick. Let me know how you're feeling today. Pumped. There you go. That is awesome. Ready, set, go. Good, good, good. All right. Just have to do something here. Cast. Cool. All right. Ribs are touching. Okay. You're hungry, I guess. Birthday celebration all weekend. Well, happy birthday, D. Very good. Zainab, after yesterday, I did not feel ready for this test. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't stress. Okay? Next. Weather got me. Sorry, Somali. I'm telling you, more wine. Weather would not catch you like that. My Wi-Fi is down, so it's lagging, says Rishi. I'm sorry, man. You said you have Optimum, right? I know. I know how it is. Mimi says it's graduation day. Absolutely, we're done. And Shirley says hair is in process. Go to Andrea's house because she was doing her daughter's hair the other day. So if you need to do your hair, there you go. All right, guys. Ready? Ready, ready? Let's rock. It's Friday. Let's get this out of the way. Like I was saying before, between 5:30, I always give a quick announcement around 5:30. So I did state, guys, that I don't want any. If it's not related to what we're going to go through today, then don't post any questions. Don't ask any questions. I'm going to clear it right now. There's a few people that would join later, but unfortunately, I'm not going to repeat this. I'll repeat at the end. But as far as the school exam, tonight you should receive, between tonight and tomorrow, you should receive an email with your scheduled dates. And you're going to receive a link. Now, the thing you're going to receive as well as a password. I did tell you that there has to be a password. But that password's to the exam. So there's a password to get into Zoom. The day of the exam, I'll give you a password to log into the exam, okay? So I'm just giving you a heads up. I have to have everything secure to make sure, one, that it is you and not somebody else doing the exam, and two, securing Zoom so nobody hacks the Zoom call or the exam, okay? So I'm just letting you guys know. Forgot to put my phone on silent. All right, so that's it. So don't ask about the exam. I will give you heads up between tonight and tomorrow. I'm still dividing the classes, who's going to do on Thursday, who's going to do on Friday. So if you have an issue, guys, if you have an issue on Thursday or Friday, send me a separate message and say, I already had a couple of people that told me they can do Friday or Thursday. Send me a separate message letting me know Bruno can't do Thursday or Bruno can't do Friday, okay? But that's the exam is Thursday or Friday. No other option for this exam. Only people that have completed at least 90% of the course can proceed to the exam. So some of you will not receive a notification yet. Okay? I have been keeping tabs on who's present and who's not, as you know. I always ask you to be online, to be available so I can see you. If I don't see you because my screen only shows 25, then I switch to the other 25 once in a while. But Zoom records both what you guys are looking at right now, which is me, right? And also records the gallery view where I get to see all of you, right? So I know exactly who's logged in, for how long, what you've been doing, okay? That's why I keep on messing with you guys also on where you are, what you're doing, and so on. All right, so with that being said, with that out of the way, let's jump right into this. And we now have 34 people. Rishi can't stream right now because of the internet. Okay. You're fired anyway. All right, that's it. If you can't stream, if you're not here, you're fired. I've been practicing that, so firing people. So here we go. We're going to go into practice test B. I know we did not finish yesterday, but we're going to go to practice test B. You guys already know the rules. No book. Okay, no book at all. And we have question number 1. You guys can hear me well, right? Just want to make sure. All right, cool. So question number 1. It says right here, a house that contains screens, smoke alarms, and the crystal chandelier. The contract of sale mentions none of these items specifically. Before the final closing, the seller has the right to remove what? A, the screens because they are trade fixtures. B, smoke alarms which are personal property. C, the chandelier because it is an appurtenance. Or none of the items. Okay? Give me your best answer. Look for, always try to rule out what doesn't make sense. Always try to rule out what doesn't make sense, guys. Nothing's mentioned specifically in the contract. What can they remove? Nothing's mentioned specifically in the contract. What can they remove? All right, we got mixed answers. We got C, we got D. All right, let's go by process of elimination. Ready? First of all, this is a house, right? And it doesn't mention being a business. Could it be A? No, because A talks about being a trade fixture. So A can never be the answer. The next one is smoke alarms, which are personal property. Smoke alarms, personal property. No, they're attached. They're fixtures, right? Chandelier, because it's an appurtenance. What is an appurtenance? Two properties together, right? So side by side. So by process of elimination, if you were to look at this and ignore everything else, right? What can be removed? And the answer is D, none of the items. Ooh, I see those faces. Ooh, none of the items. Remember, always try to ask the seller or the buyer, is there anything here that you would like to exclude from the contract or anything you'd like to include in the contract? Always ask, okay? If it's not specifically stated, then it could be removed or not. Can I repeat appurtenance, said Sarah. Where are you, Sarah? Well, look at where you are. I mean, you're outdoors again. That's why, reception. Or you're trying to catch more reception. I said appurtenance is two properties together. So appurtenance, like easement appurtenance, is a right to somebody else's property, but it has to be attached, like a shared driveway, for instance. Appurtenance just means together. All right, next. Question number 2. The amount of earnest money deposit is determined by state law, the broker, agreement of the parties, or the local association of realtors. Who determines the amount of earnest money deposit? Okay, and if you guys don't know what earnest money deposit is, it's a good faith deposit. It's when you start the contract. Who determines how much money you got to put up front? All right. Again, we have some mixed feelings here. What's going on? Mixed feelings. Somebody is putting B, others are putting C. All right. C or B? Thank you, Shanice. I mean, that was great. It's one of them. I mean, where's Raquel with the ABCD? All right. So here's the thing. Guys, earnest money deposit. It's not mandatory, so let's start there, right? It's not mandatory. And why would I, the broker, so if it's not mandatory, it's not state law. Let's eliminate that one. Realtors, the association, definitely not, right? And why would I, the broker, get involved in telling you, hey, put $5,000? Put $5,000? No. I can suggest, but who determines the actual deposit, right? It's an agreement of the parties involved. So the buyer can put $1,000 and the seller could say, well, no, I want to see more. I want to see more. Give me $2,000, $3,000. Do you guys understand? So good faith deposit, anything related to the contract, guys, let's make it simpler. Anything related to the contract is always, always, always an agreement of the parties. The broker makes no decision in the contract. We help, we suggest, we consult, that's it. Got it? So the answer is C as in Charles. Next question. 3. Nelson McDonald sold his house on his own and still owed the broker a commission. Sold the house on his own and still owed the broker a commission. You guys probably remember this from yesterday. He must have signed what? An open listing, a net listing, an exclusive right to sell listing, or an exclusive agency listing. Nelson McDonald, make sure you guys don't have the books open, please. I'm getting answers before I even get there. So no books at all, please. No PDF, no nothing. Focus on what's here. Test yourselves. So, sold his house, but still owed. This means we're kind of like married. We're together. We're stuck. No matter what you do, it's part of me. No matter what I do, it's part of you. Right? In which one of these, sorry, Raquel. In which one of these do we have that type of commitment? And the correct answer is exclusive right to sell listing. Again, exclusive right to sell. So no matter who sells, the broker still gets paid. Exclusive agency, this was from yesterday, is we're engaged, but if I find a buyer through my own efforts, bye-bye. Does that make sense? I don't have to pay you. All right? So exclusive agency, exclusive right to sell means we're kind of committed to one person only, one agency. In this one, no matter what, I get paid. In this one, hey, it depends. Did you find the buyer or did I find the buyer? You guys got it? Correct answer is C, and this is Chapter 10, Listings. Sarah, not being able to read has nothing to do with reception now, okay? Like I didn't read. By the way, Sarah, that's one of the mistakes. So guys, learn from Sarah right now. She didn't read. That's one of the mistakes in the school or state exam. Don't jump into conclusions. And she looks away like, okay, don't see my embarrassed face. All right, let's go. Which can be executed? This is question number 4. Which can be executed without subjecting the signers to further responsibility for title? Weird question, isn't it? Which can be executed? So what type of contract, right, could be done without making the signers further responsible for the title? Okay. Quitclaim deed, special warranty deed, or bargain and sale deed. The first question, guys, before you do anything, a deed is signed by who? Okay, that's what you have to think right away. Who signs the deed? Only the grantor. Very good. The seller. So which one of these, and I'm just showing you guys how to associate things. Which one of these deeds can be executed without making the seller further responsible for the title? Go ahead. Answer. which can be executed without subjecting the signers to further responsibility of the title. Quitclaim deed, special warranty deed, or bargain and sale deed. And I think the majority has won. We got A as an answer. Guys, don't forget the rules. If you do not know, put a question mark so you can assess yourself at the end. Okay? This is chapter 19, legal descriptions and deeds. Question number 5. The utility company dug up Andrea Dunham's garden to lay gas lines. The company had an easement recorded at the county clerk's office. Now, Andrea claimed that the easement was invalid because she was never told about it. The easement, I already see heads shaking. The easement was valid even if she'd never heard of it. The easement was valid only if the company could prove she knew about it when she bought it. The easement was appurtenant, or the easement had expired if it had been used, had not been used for 10 years. Guys, make sure again you read and pay attention. Here's the question. Utility company dug up Andrea Dunham's garden. So they didn't ask permission, right? So they have a right. That's the easement. It's a right. The company had the easement, a right, recorded in the county clerk's office. But Andrea said, hey, wait a minute. Who are you? This is invalid. I did not know about it. That's what she's saying, right? Was it valid even though she's never heard of it? Was it valid only if the company could prove she knew about it when she bought it? Was it appurtenant or expired if it had not been used for 10 years? All right. Sarah, could you translate what you just wrote? Infant? You're having problems. Connection, reading, and typing? Mm-hmm. Okay. It's Friday. I got you. All right. So here's the answer, guys. You ready? Ready? The answer is A as in apple. Easements are rights. And the rights go from owner to owner to owner. There's nothing you can do about it unless both parties agree to dissolve or cancel that easement or that right. So easements are rights. Even though she never heard of it, it's part of it. Nothing you can do. You guys got it? Good. Number 6. When court orders real property sold to satisfy an unpaid lien, this process is known as easement, encumbrance, attachment, or foreclosure. When there's a court order to sell property, okay, court order to sell property, then it's called what? Very good. I think we have unanimous decision. The answer is D, foreclosure. Very good. There's a court order to sell something because of unpaid lien. Lien is money. So the way to sell the property because of money is called, or because of unpaid, is called foreclosure. Now, real quick, I had a message here from, what am I doing? All right. So now, in reference to the previous question, real quick, she wrote, I thought easement was allowing someone to do something. No, that's license. Like you have a driver's license, state of New Jersey allowed you to obtain this license and drive in the roads. Just like you're getting a real estate license. State is allowing you to get the license and act on behalf of the state and their residents. Okay? Easement is a right. License is permission. Okay? All right, let's go to calculators. I need your calculators right now. Nice way to start, right? A calculator right here. Math question right in the beginning. So question number 7. The tax rate is $7.80 per $100 assessment. If property is valued at $87,500, but guys, it's right here, it's assessed at 50% of its value, what is the total property tax? It's assessed at 50%. I'm going to give you some time on this one. $7.80 per 100. The property value is $87,500, but the assessment is 50% of that. What is the property tax value? All right. You guys appear to be on point with the questions. Candace, 73,000. I know what you were saying. 7. Got it. I got you. I'm just messing with you. All right. Sarah, that keyboard's finally working. Anybody else feels like a math genius after this one? Absolutely. You should. Look at that. So, I think we're getting there. Oh. Somebody missed something there. Let's go. A, $682.50. B, $3,412.50. C, $6,825. Or D, $13,650. And the correct answer is B as in boy. You guys did awesome on this one. All right, you can tap yourselves in the back, right? Whatever way you want. It was very good, very good. Next, number 8. When appraising an office building, the appraiser, okay, it's an office building. The appraiser, look at the question, is most concerned with A, no page, Janine, no books. So with accrued depreciation, annual mortgage payments, comparable sales, or net annual income. When appraising an office building, the appraiser is most concerned with, it's an office building. How do we compare office buildings? Think about it. Carlos, hit me up after class and I'll explain that to you, okay? Actually, send me a message on WhatsApp real quick, and then I'll explain it. All right. Not bad, not bad. Good. All right, again, I think we're looking at a unanimous decision here. The correct answer is net annual income. Because office buildings don't often have comparables, because not too many sales to compare to, right? And they're irregular. There's no office building that looks like the other, right? We have single families, we can compare to a single family, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, it's easy. But office buildings are difficult, right? So, with that being said, we need to look at other ways. Comparable sales don't work. Mortgage payments? Definitely not. Accrued depreciation to figure out the value? Not for office building. That would be for something that doesn't generate income, like a church, a school, or so on. So, net annual income. The income a property brings determines the value of the property. Okay? Juliana, are you drinking beer? What is that? White Claw. Not that it makes it any better. All right. I know it's Friday night. You got to do something. Got it. Number 9. Ready? calculators? A borrower obtained a second mortgage for a loan, a second mortgage loan for $20,000 at 10%. It called for payments of $175 a month over a period of 5 years. So let's stop right here before I read anything else. $20,000 is the mortgage loan at 10%. The payments for this loan is $175 for 5 years. So that's the term. Then look at the next sentence. The final installment would be a balloon payment. Guys, remember what a balloon is, right? This is mortgages. We talked about in chapter 14, balloon payments, right? This loan is what? No calculators needed. Don't give me that face. Fully amortized loan, partially amortized loan, straight loan, or blanket loan. Think about it. What is a balloon? Your final payment is a balloon. What's a balloon? For 5 years, the payment is $175 a month. Nope. Guys, what's a balloon? All right. So here's the thing. Blanket loan, though, has nothing to do with it. Blanket loan just means I'm going to reverse the process of elimination. Blanket loan would be for buying a big lot and subdividing it. Covers everything. It does not talk about how it amortizes or how it dies, right? A straight loan is like a term, meaning you pay, but then at the end, you still have the whole principal to deal with. I'm sorry, it's like an interest only. So at the end, you still have the principal to deal with, right? The partially amortized loan, that means whatever you're paying now does not fully amortize the loan, meaning it doesn't kill off the loan. So the final payment, because you're not fully amortizing, the final payment is going to be a balloon inflated payment. Balloon inflates. So your monthly payments are small payments. Final payment, balloon. A fully amortized loan means that your first payment is the same as the last payment. The first payment starts the loan, the last payment ends the loan at 0. So guys, if it said for 5 years you're paying $175 a month and the final payment will bring the balance to 0, then that would be a fully amortized loan. But what it says is that the final payment would be a balloon payment. That means a payment that's bigger than this. A payment that's higher than this. Your final payment is now $175. Your final payment could be $2,000, could be $10,000, could be $100,000. All I'm saying is, every time it says balloon, right, you inflate the balloon, that means the final payment is bigger than the first payment. You got it? That means it did not fully amortize. That means it was partially amortized. What does the word amortize mean? To kill off slowly over time, right? This is chapter 14. Margarita, I just repeated. Are you good? You want me to repeat again? Okay. You're saying yes or repeat again? Okay. I broke your streak. Sorry. All right. So the answer is B. Guys, in this question, the only potential answer was A and B. Okay? The only potential answers would have been A and B. A fully amortized loan, the payments are consistent. First payment would be $175, second payment would be $175, third payment $175. Final payments would still be $175 a month, $175 a month, and the final one would still be $175, bringing the balance down to 0. All right? So that's a fully amortized payment or loan, right? A partially amortized payment, that means the payments you're making of 175, the payments you're making do not bring the balance down to zero. They do pay a little bit towards principal and interest, but they're not enough for the final payment to be zero. Because amortizing, again, is killing off slowly over time, right? To be fully amortized, that means your final payment is now bringing to zero, and they're all the same. Partial amortized means you're not paying enough, so your final payment is going to be a bigger inflated payment, balloon payment. You got it? Okay, again, that's chapter 14. And look at fixed rate payments. So under fixed rate payments, you have, it talks about fully amortized, then it talks about the partially amortized, it talks about the straight loan, and it talks about the biweekly mortgages. All right, if you guys remember, that's the section. All right, now you need calculators. 10. If the interest rate is 5% and the monthly interest, this is also chapter 14, and the monthly interest is a payment of $650, what would be the principal amount or the total loan? If the rate is 5%, monthly interest is $650, what would be the principal amount? Things to look at. We have the interest rate. Is interest rate monthly or annual? Annual. We have monthly interest payment. So I'm not going to tell you any more right here, but this is what you need to know. Interest rate is annual. They're giving you monthly payments. And then remember the steering wheel. Easy, Speedy Gonzalez. All right. Somebody needs to go check their math again. I'm not going to say who. Melissa. Was that too loud? I was just thinking, you know. Monica, question 610. Wow. All right. There's only 110 questions in the exam, guys. Don't panic now because of what Monica just did. All right. Interest rate is annual. They're giving you monthly interest payment of $650. What do you have to do first? You have to multiply by 12. Now that you have the yearly or the annual interest payment, you're trying to figure out value. Go to the steering wheel. What are you supposed to do? You have rate, right? You have the annual interest. So how do you figure out value? If you remember the steering wheel, one goes on top, the other one goes in the bottom. Right, Melissa? You're lost? Ah, boy. You don't know your own address? You're that lost? Okay, Katrin is so lost. All right. That's going to be my gift to you guys, the GPS, so you know where you are. All right, the question said, interest was 5%, right? payments, $650 per month. And the question was, what was the principal, right? Okay. Principal is the same thing as value. You're trying to figure out the value or the loan amount in this case. The total loan or total loan, right? This is rate, and the payments are monthly. That's what we know so far, right? If we go to the steering wheel, like I was telling you guys, what do we have? We're trying to figure out value. We have rate, 5% or 0.05, okay? And then there's a number that goes on top. Now, we have a problem. If rate is annual, the number on top has to be also annual. Okay? The number we have is monthly. So the first thing we need to do is multiply this by 12. What do we have if we multiply 650 by 12? Who can tell me so I can put on top? 7,800. So on top, your total payments of interest are 7,800. If I have a number on top and a number on the bottom, what do? Divide. Keywords was right here. Monthly. You need to convert it to annual because the number on top is always annual. All right? Get used to the steering wheel. It's a simple tool. We're not even talking about formulas here. You can skip all that. But if you want to make a reference, you make a reference to this question, page 190. Or 191, one of them. 190 or 191. I got confused now. Anyway. Melissa, what do you have there? 1,560? Do you think that's the loan amount? You're close to it, but do you think that's the loan amount? Uh-huh. I don't have to say much more. All right. Is it A, 130,000, B, 156,000, C, 84,000, or D, 325,000? And the correct answer, guys, is B as in boy, 156,000. Remember, on your calculators, those that are forgetting 2 zeros, look at right here. Look right here, please, on screen. Those that forgot the 2 zeros. This is the problem. You have to divide it either by 5%, so you have to key in the percent, or divided by 0.05. If you divide by 5, then it's going to give you 1,560. Okay? You either convert it to decimals or make sure on your calculator you put the percent sign. Melissa, you are not the only one, so you're safe on this one. All right, you guys good? There's only 8 questions of math, guys, in the state exam, so don't stress so much. Most of them are very easy. And I'm glad some of the people here watching work for a bank, because, whoo, your money's safe. All right, next. Carlos, 8. Up to 8. All right, question 11. Check it out. It says, Ezra dies and devises his real property to his second wife during her lifetime, right? For her lifetime. After which the property will pass to Ezra's children. Before we move forward, listen to what happened. Break down. Ezra died And in the will, because that's what devise mean, in the will, he gave the property to his second wife while she's alive, during her lifetime. After which, the property will go to Ezra's, so the deceased person's children. It's not asking about the wife, it's asking about the children. What do they own? These are things to pay attention to. This is what could mess up your whole answer if you don't read. The children own a life estate, a reversion, a remainder interest, or estate for years. Guys, pay attention to what you're answering, especially those that are out by the porches. Pay attention to what you're answering. Do not answer right away. And remember, he was alive, put in the will to his wife as long as she's alive. When she dies, it goes to who? The children. By the way, don't make this the one question that will say, I quit real estate, okay? Because you don't have to deal with this in real life. Attorneys do, title companies do. You should know about it, but that's it. Rishi, are you telling me or asking me? Don't put question marks, just put your answer. If it's incorrect, it's incorrect. Remember, yesterday and today is just to catch our mistakes or where we need to strengthen a little bit, okay? So, this type of question would take a little bit more time. So I'm giving you the extra time because of that. Some questions we just move right through. There's a few people that did not answer yet, so go for it. Come on. Anybody remembers which chapter this is? No. Chapter 3? No. 3, 2? No, not that. If you're doing 3 times 2 Somali, then yes. Chapter 6, Estates and Interests. Oh, Jonathan, you got cats too? I thought it was just Anthony. Okay. I'm a dog lover, but nothing wrong with cats. Can't enlighten you on anything right now, okay? In a little bit. All right, there's still a few people that did not answer. Come on, guys. Whoever's not answering, just throw something at it. Whatever gut feeling you have, just throw it. If it's wrong, it's wrong. You have a chance to correct it over the weekend when you study about it. This is chapter 6. Melissa, I don't know what you're doing, if you're arguing with me or whatever it is, but it's funny. I love how you talk to the camera. I cannot hear you. You know that, right? All right. All right, keep going. We got 37 people. No comments. We got 37 people. Come on. I got like 20-something answers. Don't be afraid. Just throw it. All right. So 3, 2, 1. All right, moving forward. So here's the thing, guys. Very simple. I told you that we're looking at the children, not the spouse. For those of you that answered A, life estate is what the spouse has. She owns that property for as long as she's alive. That's a life estate. You own the property as long as you're alive. Okay? Now, reversion would be if Ezra was alive, right? When the second wife dies, it reverts to Ezra. But Ezra is not alive, so can he revert to Ezra? No. Estate for years, to enlighten Melissa, since she asked, estate for years, it's a type of lease. It's a definite estate. It's the lease where you start and you finish. Could be a 3-day lease, could be a 6-month lease, could be a 1-year lease. But that's a type of leasehold estate. As far as C, which is the correct answer, C is remainder interest. Who remains at the end of this? Who gets the property? It's always a third party. So who are the first parties? Ezra and his wife. Who's the third party not related to the transaction? The children. They're asking about Ezra's children. What do they own? Not the wife, but the children. What do they own? They own an interest. They don't own the property. They will once second wife dies. Okay? But they don't own. They have an interest in the property. You guys remember this? Those that were here for those chapters? Okay. Remember, life estate, if they ask you about the wife, life estate would be the answer. If they ask you about Ezra, if he was still alive and he got the property, right, back, it would be reversionary interest or reversion. Remainder, every time you see remainder or remainderment, that means a third party that receives the property instead of, okay? Third party. Instead of coming back to Ezra, right, it goes to the children. It could have said, right, it could have said that it goes to, I don't know, Columbia University. Columbia University would have the remainder interest, meaning they have no claim to the property until that person dies. You guys got it? Chapter 6. Estates and interests. Guys, don't stress. I see some faces here like, okay, can we finish this right now and just go into the weekend? Don't stress about it. This, again, is just seeing where you are. Things to focus on. You've been doing great so far. All right, question 12. The prospective borrower decided to change the loan. I think we answered this question yesterday. They decided to change the loan from FHA to conventional. In this situation, the lender must issue a new loan estimate, does not have to issue a new loan estimate, has to meet the original closing date, or is responsible for any delays caused by the change. Okay? So the borrower decided to switch halfway, right before the closing. They switched from FHA loan to conventional loan. The lender must do what? Issue a new loan estimate, does not have to issue a new loan estimate, has to meet the original closing date, or is responsible for any delays. Have you guys ever watched or maybe YouTube clips of the Brady Bunch or stuff like that? That's what this looks like. As I'm looking at you guys, I got one on top, one on the bottom. All right, you guys want to start singing it? No? All right, Kathy, I'm going to go with D. Sarah, love your answer, 12. Getting there, all right. Galaxy Tab A, Mr. Anthony. That's your name here, it's Galaxy Tab A. Old show, good times? Yep. That's what they say. I never watched it, so. All right, what we got? Okay, correct answer. You guys ready? Ready? Because it changes the loan. Chapter 15 and chapter 21. We talked about this yesterday. Because it changes the loan, it triggers a new 3-day period. Therefore, the lender is responsible for issuing a new loan estimate. Correct answer is A as in apple. Melissa's happy she got one. Just kidding. She got a few more, guys. Like 2, maybe. I don't know. What chapter? It's chapter 15. Chapter 15. Kathy, don't cry inside. You can pour your tears out here. Nobody's like really seeing the tears. Go ahead. How is D wrong? Okay, so now here you go. Why would the lender be responsible for delays? Why would the lender be responsible for delays if the borrower is the one that decided to change? Right? That's what you have to think about. Why would the lender be responsible for delays in the closing, right, if the borrower is the one that decided to change the loan? Yeah. See? It's the reading. Don't follow Sarah's trend of not reading stuff, okay? Or answering blank. Make sure you answer always something, okay? For those of you wondering, yes, this is me in class if you guys were here in front of me. It's not because you're far away that I was not going to pick on you. I pick in class and outside of class. All right. Francina goes, I saw that. You saw what? I don't know what you're talking about. What did you see? Oh, the 12 blank? Yeah, that was Sarah. Yep. Francina saw a blank. Don't worry, she's not the only one that had a blank for a second. But it's okay. You guys ready? Question number 13. The market data approach is most important in appraising what? Market data approach is most important in appraising a church, older residence, apartment building, or newly constructed residence. A market data approach. See, you guys just jump at it. Think about it. Market data approach or sales comparison approach is most important in appraising which one of these. Careful with what you're answering. A market data approach is a sales comparison approach, right? In your answers, like what you guys have been answering, there's something that triggers immediately to say that that is incorrect. What is triggering there? Everybody's entitled to go blank right now. Write blank, 13 blank. It's okay. All right. Remember, I'm here trying to teach you also what to look at, right? And David, you're correct. The fact, guys, look right here. Let me help you out. The fact that it says newly constructed, how many comps are we going to have to a brand new construction? It's most important, right, when we're looking at older residences because they have more comps to work with. Remember, it says most important. A newer construction, if we have nothing to compare to, then we're going to need to use maybe a cost approach as well, right? Because it's brand new. What can you compare to? Okay? Not market value. How can you determine the market value of a brand new construction? You can, but it's a lot easier for properties that already exist on the market and have been sold and are comparable to, right, than to something that was just built. We're not saying that it's not applicable. The question is most important. Okay? So brand new, we might need to use more than one approach to figure out its value. It's brand new. Got it? Okay, that's chapter 16. Oh, the answer is B. Older residence. Answer is B, older residence. Because there's more comps, more comparables, more market data to analyze and compose a proper comparison. okay, to reach what Candace just wrote, market value. These don't have as many. Apartment buildings, there's not many sales either, so we're going to look at income. And a church, there's not sales traditionally and doesn't generate income traditionally, so cost approach. Okay? Janine, that was your first choice, then go for it. Janine just wrote, that was my first choice. Guys, one of the biggest mistakes you guys make in the exam is not going with your gut feeling. But you cannot go with your gut feeling without reading. So very important. I prefer that you guys fail. So Janine, if you had failed because you answered what was your gut feeling, I'll prefer that than failing because you changed. Are you guys understanding this? Because if you go with your gut feeling and it's wrong, at least you know, okay, that was wrong and I know why. In the state exam, they don't go answer by answer and try to tell you, hey, this is wrong, that's wrong. They don't do that. So you really don't know if you had it right or if you had it wrong. Fail. Guys, fail on purpose. If you pass, great, you're solid, you know. But fail on purpose. Don't change answers. Do not change answers. Today I'm allowing you to because I'm explaining and breaking down the questions. Okay? So now the answer is B as in boy. B as in boy. Only change answers because I'm explaining and you understood why. Okay? Other than that, it's okay to fail here. It's okay to fail in the school exam. It's okay to fail the state exam. It's okay. Next. 14. Put more pressure on studying versus pressure on passing. You guys got it? If you put pressure on I have to pass, I have to pass, I have to pass, then you get into a mental breakdown. Don't go through that. Okay? Study. Understand. Comprehend. Next. So 14 is among 14? Yeah. Among the several pieces of information that the lender must gather before issuing a loan estimate, or LE, is the applicant's signed affidavit that the borrower has complied with fair housing guidelines, statement of religious belief, social security number, or estimated earnings statement. To have a complete loan application, because they can only issue the loan estimate once they have a complete loan application. They need several pieces, which we know by the acronym ALIENS. Okay? ALIENS. And by the way, I gave you the answer to this one while we were on the chapter. I was very specific on the answer. But I also told you guys would forget later, right? I've said that a couple times. D, are you eating watermelon? Is that what it is? Good. Good. Drop off some, just saying. All right. Still missing a few answers. Come on. 14. What do you guys think it is? Raquel, you're counting aliens? Okay. Address of the property. L for loan. I for income. So loan amount. Income. Ready? E is for what? Estimated value. Estimated property value. N is for name of the potential borrower. And then there's S, missing, which is social security number. Correct answer is C as in Charlie. For you to have a complete loan application and for them to issue a loan estimate, they must have aliens. Address of the property. the loan amount being requested, income of the borrower. So it cannot be an estimated. They have to have the actual income. What am I spelling? I'm spelling aliens, like extraterrestrial. A-L. Did I spell correctly? A-L-I-E. Yeah. So 6 items you need. Address. What is that? All right, you're gonna have to teach me, guys. All right, so address of the property you're trying to buy. L is the loan value or the loan amount. Okay, L. Okay. I, there you go, is the income of the borrower, because they need to verify your income in order to qualify. That's E. All right. E is the estimated value of the property. Okay, estimated value. Like that. Okay. So that's N. So that's the name of the borrower. Okay, the name of the person borrowing money. And then that's S. All right, we're learning a lot of stuff today. Love it. And then that's S for Social Security number. Now try to do it fast. Right? Wait. Slow down. While they're thinking, let me do this. All right, so A, L, and then I, right? And then it's E, right? N. I got this. There you go. At least I know how to talk about aliens. All right. So now you're good? All right. There you go. So 15, what we got? 15. Broker Bensley. This should be easy, guys. Broker Bensley. Pay attention, look at the screen, Melissa. Broker Bensley listed the Corin's property. His salesman, Stan Sando, accepted a check for $5,000 earnest money with an offer. Right? The offer is a contract, and they received $5,000. Sando should take the check and A, give it to the Corwins, B, hold it until closing, C, give it to Bensley, or D, deposit in Stan's special escrow account. Stan is a salesperson. He accepted a check of $5,000 along with the offer. What does a salesperson have to do? Give it to the seller, the Corwins, hold it until closing, give it to the broker, Bensley, or deposit in Stan's special escrow account. Catherine, what's wrong? Shaking your head. All right, this is chapter 2, by the way. So those of you that haven't done chapter 2, I'm going to give you a free pass today to make the mistake you just made. All right, still missing a few. Give me those answers. Come on, throw it at me. I love that she's just chilling, like, this watermelon, delicious. It keeps on going at it. Awesome. All right. Good one. It's good when you correct yourself because you misread. Very good. All right, guys. So the correct answer is give it to Broker Bensley. Correct answer is C. Okay? Why? Because salespeople are not allowed to have an escrow account. Brokers are. Right? If you remember this from chapter 2, you received the money and you got to give it immediately to your broker. Your broker now has 5 business days to deposit that money. All right? Again, if you had it wrong, it's okay. We're here to learn. All right? Give it to the seller? Definitely not. Not until we close. Hold it until closing? Definitely not, because you might use the money for something else or misplace the money. So immediately give it to your broker. Janine, yes. I kept on saying salesperson, didn't I? It's very, very important, guys. Very important. If you guys notice, I've been breaking down the questions. Very, very important that you point out certain things. Broker Bensley, his salesman Stan Sandow, and then asks, what should Sandow do? Well, Sandow, we know it's the salesperson. Key things. Myra, I didn't read the whole question. Yeah, all right. So I don't want anybody to freak out about what I'm about to say, right, because of the current situation. But it appears that Sarah started some kind of virus that affects people on the ability to read questions. A lot of you are saying, I misread, I didn't read the whole thing. I've been saying this from day one. If you guys don't read, one letter could change everything. One letter. Didn't I say that with free and fee? One letter. The R changes everything. Imagine a whole word that you guys are not reading. Pay attention to the questions. Very, very important. It's the aliens. Ah. All right. Kathy, you have an excuse. It's the aliens, says Carlos. All right. Question 16. If you guys don't, so Janine says, if you guys don't read, you won't achieve, says the person that misread salesman. But we're getting there. You guys are getting to understand this now. So question 16, Mrs. Hall signed a 30-day listing with a broker. 30-day listing with a broker. The next day, she was killed in an accident. The listing was invalid unless her husband ratified it. Still in effect for 29 more days. Binding upon her if services had been performed or terminated. 16, the correct answer for 16 is write it down. The correct answer for 16 is. Well, now you guys are reading, huh? Like slowly paying attention to it. Let's see what I'm going to answer. Okay, this is chapter 3 and chapter 10. They both mention reasons to terminate agency agreements. Okay? Guys, the death of the principal terminates the contract. The death of the principal terminates the contract. Remember, it's a listing. We're not talking about a buyer. It's just a listing. Nobody said that a buyer put a contract. I know, Melissa. Yep, I saw that face right there. Here's the thing. If there was a buyer, the story might have been different. But it's just a listing. A listing means the property is advertised for sale. The agency agreement is now terminated because the listing is an agreement between the salesperson and the seller. If the seller doesn't exist, then there's no obligation to move forward. You got it? This is chapter 3, and we have it also in chapter 10. Chapter 3 talks about agency agreement, hiring somebody or being hired by someone. And chapter 10 talks about listings specifically. This is a listing. Okay? Correct answer is D as in David. Yep. Hi, David. What is that, ribs? I'm just saying. Watermelon, got ribs down there. What else we got? Some of you are hungry. Oh, chicken. Close. And you suck. Come on. Sucking and licking your fingers. Come on, man. We're all hungry here. Like, delicious. I am hungry. I asked for at least a watermelon. Nobody brings anything. At least when it was live, people would kind of like, hey, Bruno, here's some chocolate, or here's a coffee, or here's this, or here's that. Big grip. Anyway, all right, so question 17. A widow received ownership, Janine, received ownership of the family home for the rest of her life. Pay attention. Did we get a question similar to this? A widow received ownership of the family home for the rest of her life, with the title going to her children on her death. Had a similar question before. Look at what's asking now. Right here. She owns what? She. The person that currently owns is the widow, not the children. They're asking about the person that currently owns. She owns what? A, life estate. B, leasehold. C, remainder. Or D, easement. You guys are already answering. I didn't even finish reading. That's mistake number 3. You never know. You never know if the next answer is more accurate. You never know. Don't just jump at answers. I'm not saying it's incorrect. I'm just pointing something out. Okay, you can breathe. I'm not saying it's incorrect. Oh, we know this one. So confident, huh? Rishi was definitely A, though. All right. So, unanimous decision. She owns a life estate because it's as long as she's alive. Janine, I know you wrote C for chicken because I was talking about chicken, and your comment about chicken and ribs being similar. No, they usually come in the combo, though. And you guys are in the tiny screen, so I couldn't define what David was eating. I'm sorry. The comments I get, seriously. All right. Question 18. Under common law of agency, the real estate broker has a fiduciary relationship with, under common law of agency, chapter 3. Who does the broker, like David knows this because it's his favorite word now. What is a fiduciary relationship with who? A, the client. B, other brokers only. All right, stop. You're already answering. There's 4 answers. Don't do that. I'm telling you, you never know if there's another one that's more accurate, that is most applicable. Let me finish. That's why I'm doing it this way, slow. Okay? Let me try this again. A, the client. B, other brokers only. C, the seller's attorney. Or D, both the buyer and seller. Go. All right. Fiduciary relationship. Under law of agency, that means somebody was hired, right? Now, who hired you? Was it the broker? Was it the seller's attorney? Was it the buyer and seller? Or was it the client? And the correct answer is A as in apple. The client. Very good. I'm telling you, one of these, I mean, you already did that before, but one of these, you guys are going to jump at the answer, and there's going to be another one that's more applicable or most accurate. 19. It says, title to real property is passed when a valid deed is escrowed, signed, delivered, or witnessed. Title to real property is passed when a valid deed is escrowed, signed, delivered, or witnessed. That's chapter 21. A couple of days ago. Actually, a week ago today. Friday. All right. So it appears like 99% of you answered C. And the correct answer is, drum roll, C as in Charlie. C as in Charlie, guys. Title, remember the dirt that we grab dirt and we pass it along to the buyer? The moment we passed it is when it becomes valid. Okay? It's not when it's signed, it's when it's delivered and accepted. We talked about this at the end of chapter 21. Delivery and acceptance. I can write a deed, I can sign as the grantor, but if I did not deliver, is the deed valid? No. And I can deliver, and if you don't accept, is the deed valid? No. So once it's delivered, that means you got it, you accepted it. Okay? So only at that time. Delivered to the buyer, Catherine. It's a new century. Yes, that's why we use the document now. Still means the same thing, Melissa, but okay. Carlos, delivered to the aliens. There you go. Calculators. Question 20. A lot, always, by the way, if it's talking about area, try to, even though you don't need it here, but always try to draw the area. A lot that's 80 feet wide and 200 feet deep, okay, is sold at $500, pay attention, per front foot. Per front foot. Commission is 10% of the sales price. That's the total gross commission. The selling salesperson, the one that actually completed the sale, receives 60% of the commission. What does the salesperson receive? Okay, Kathy, the previous one was chapter 21. All right, so don't forget, okay? Don't forget, front foot. We talked about this in chapter 22 in math. I explained it to you, and I stopped there a couple times because there might be a question in the school or state exam that talks about something similar to this. It's being sold at $500 per front foot or frontage, right? The total commission is 10%. But the salesperson receives 60%. That's what you need to know, the 60%. Again, things to look for in the question. We're all talking about food, and Melissa goes and get food too. That's why she's not reading the question. She's went to get food. $500 per front foot. There's one number that represents front feet or frontage. One number represents front feet or frontage. Okay. One of the numbers is not needed in the first sentence. One of the numbers is not needed because it's sold per front foot, not per square foot, per front foot. Total commission is 10%. Selling salesperson receives 60% commission. How much does a salesperson receive? Just draw it. Don't imagine it. Draw it. I'm telling you. I got it. You don't have to. But these are the little things that will help you in the state exam, I'm telling you. Shaniqua, listen. Close the book. Close the book. Where are you? Shaniqua. Okay. Close the book because we're not supposed to have books. You're writing B. That means you have the book open. This is to test yourself. I don't need answers. I need you to really, I need you to look at the answers. I need you to really know what you're doing. Okay? What happened, people? You got stuck? What's going on? All right. Let me give you a hint. Width is always frontage, or the first number given is always width, so the first number given is always front. So frontage, what faces the road. So which number do we need? It's sold at $500 per front foot, right? So it's $500 per front foot. There's 80 feet. This number is not needed. The 200 is not needed. The other thing is, it says here 10% is the total commission, but that's not what we get. We get 60% of those 10%. Did that help? Okay. All right. Tip number 4 for the state exam. Math, leave it to the end. I'm going to repeat this a million times. Math, always leave it to the end. Because you see how it takes long? All right. Some people can get it like that. Others, it takes long. So always, always, always leave it to the end. Mark it. In the state exam, there's an option to mark and leave it to the end. Kathy, I don't know what you wrote there. You said you got a what? You got a what? If you got A and I didn't give you the answers yet, that means your book is open. Close the books, please. All right. The screen is cut off. Are you using your phone? Kathy, are you using your phone? Because if you're using your phone, then you need to rotate your phone. The question is there anybody that cannot see the question? Let me know if you cannot see the question in full, please. Are you good? Because the question is whatever is here now. All right, so let's figure out. We have A, 1,600. We have B, 2,400. We have C, 4,000. And we have D, 6,000. You can't see the first words for each question. All right, Kathy, let me know if you can see it now. Can you see it now, the first words? I don't know, it's maybe either your phone or your screen. Something is happening there. But let me know if you can see it now. And I'll try to keep it somewhere like this. All right, guys, the correct answer is B as in boy, 2,400. B as in boy. First thing you guys needed to do is $500 times 80, because that's the price per front foot. $500 times 80. What do we have there? All right, you have 4,000. Then it says that you receive, 40,000. Then it says you receive 10% in commission. The broker receives 10%. How much is that? 10% of 40. Right? Once you get to that 10%, 60% is ours. How much is 60% of the 4,000? 60% of the 4,000 is 2,400. So there's 3 steps here. One is figuring out how much is sold for, which is 500 times 80. 2, figuring out what the total commission was, which was 10% of the sales price. And then 3, figuring out how much your commission was, 60% of the total commission. You got $2,400. Good? Any questions? It's hard for you to figure out what's not needed in the question. Well, yeah, that's why I'm trying to slow it down and explain certain things. Like I said right here, it says that it's $500 per front foot, and I stopped right there because it's very important for you guys to know what's frontage or what's front foot. And in chapter 22, math, we did say that the first figure given, now I told you to highlight as well and take note, the first figure given is always front feet. So the width is always the front of the lot that faces the road. So it's always the first figure given. So if it's $500 per front foot, then you need to multiply it by 80. The 200 is not needed because it's, again, per front foot. If they said per linear foot, then you would need to add all the sides to figure out how much you have in linear foot. If they said per square foot, then you needed to multiply these two to figure out the area, right? So certain things you need to, and that's why we're doing this today, and we did it yesterday, is to pay attention to certain details that I've covered in the chapters, all right? So yeah, there's going to be stuff that's not needed. How do you figure out what's not needed? Is by breaking down the question, getting used to it, okay? So 21. Kathy, let me know if you can see it. It says right here, restrictive covenants. I need to really get out of the way. We're in a good pace today. Could have been better, but we're doing good. Yeah. Restrictive covenants that run with the land, A, are established by local municipalities, B, are binding on future owners of the property, C, must be approved by a court, or D, may not be more restrictive than building codes. This is chapter 9. Restrictive covenants that run with the land are established by local municipalities, are binding on future owners of the property, must be approved by a court, or may not be more restrictive than the building codes. This is chapter 9. Land use control. And I think we talked about it a few questions ago when we talked about easements, for instance. Okay. Let me give you a hint. Restrictive covenants are deed restrictions. Covenants, right? It's or conditions. Covenants, Juliana, you're asking, I was already answering. Covenants are conditions to your ownership, and they run with the land. But even if you do not know what restricted covenants were, it says right here, runs with the land. If it runs with the land, then it's not attached on the current owner, right? It's attached on all owners. It stays with the land. So the answer to this one is B, binding on future owners of the property, because it runs with the land. So even if you sell the property, let's look at it, forget restrictive covenants, right, for a second. But if it runs with the land, if it runs with the property, right, then all future owners are going to have to deal with it. like shared driveways. Can you restrict or limit the driveway to the next owner? No, because it's half and half, for instance. We talked about the easement and gross that the utility company had, for instance, right? That's where I talked about the easement, the right. It was recorded. And you guys remember that Andrea thought, because she did not know about it, that the company was not entitled to do anything in their property. You guys remember that question? All right? An easement is a right, and it's recorded with the deeds. It's part of it. So they run with the land, and all future owners have to deal with it. So in this question, what you needed to look again was run with the land. So it tells you already, binding on all future owners. Good? The other thing is restrictive covenants. If you guys look at chapter 9, restrictive covenants go with, it's part of the deed. Who puts a restriction on a deed? Well, the seller. Restrictive covenants are part of the deed. Private parties do this. Next, 22. VA and FHA mortgages are notable for their subsidized payments, prepayment penalties, adjustable rates, or low down payments. FHA and VA mortgages are notable for their subsidized payments, prepayment penalties, adjustable rates, or low down payments. What are they known for? Don't forget to write down the answers on a piece of paper as well so you can test yourself later. Assess yourself later. Good job. Good. And it looks like we have a unanimous decision. The correct answer is D as in David. FHA and VA loans traditionally are the ones with the lowest down payments. Very good. Next, 23. Oh, so this was 15. Okay, this was chapter 15. And this is also, well, this is chapter 14, the TRID toolkit. This might be a tough question if you guys did not pay attention to that section of the chapter, chapter 14. It says, who is uniquely in a position to provide the TRID toolkit, which is a pamphlet that talks about your home loan, right? The TRID toolkit, to a buyer, but not required to. Who's in a unique position to provide it, but not required to? Ready? I did stop at the TRID toolkit, at your home loan toolkit. I did stop and explain to you guys what it was and why certain people are in a good position to provide it. Is it the lender, the buyer's agent, the closing agent, or the insurance agent? Who is in a unique position to provide this your home loan toolkit to a buyer, but again, not required to? All right, we're doing good. Good. All right, I think it's unanimous. Sandra, no idea. All right, here you go. It's the buyer's agent. If you have a potential buyer, you should provide them with this toolkit. You should be aware of what it is and be able to explain to your client, because it talks about the power of shopping different lenders. It talks about potential failures, like if you fail on your mortgage, what should you do? How to protect yourself by locking the rate. So all the information we went over in chapter 14 is condensed into one pamphlet, which you should have and provide to your clients. You're not required to. The lender is required to provide, but the lender is not required to explain. You guys remember that? I even said, hey, they just throw it at you? Right. So they are required to provide, but not required to explain. The buyer's agent is not required to provide anything, but should they provide and explain. Absolutely, because if your buyer understands these things, right, like discount points and stuff, then the buyer is most likely going to be able to go through with the purchase. And if you think about what happens on the other side is, well, if they're able to go through with the purchase, right, I'm caring so much for my client that I'm doing this. If they're able to go through with the purchase, then I get to close and I get to make money. Absolutely. You got it? Provide your client with as much as you can, guys. Correct answer is B as in boy. 23 is B as in boy. All right, next. 24. I think we already answered this one, but private restrictions on land use may be created by zoning regulations, building codes, deed, or any of the above. Private restrictions on land use may be created by zoning, building codes, deed, or any of the above. Guys, I just answered this when we were over restrictive covenants. I explained what restrictive covenants were. So who places private restrictions on the deed? It's not asking where. It's not asking. I already gave you the answer. Sorry. They may be created by what, right? Who creates, or how are the private restrictions created? By what? Which, is it on zoning? Is it on building? Is it deed, or any of the above? If it's private, are zoning regulations and building codes private? Can it be A and B? No. So if A and B are excluded, then D is also excluded, correct? So what is left? C. Guys, private restrictions. Seller restricts the buyer. Private restrictions are private parties. Building codes and zoning regulations are public. You need to know this. I explained that before with restrictive covenants. You good? Next. Sarah, chat? Oh, chapter. Whew, that was difficult. Okay. Yes, seller restricts the buyer. Land use confuse you. So this is chapter 9, guys. Like I said before, chapter 9, where it talks about land use, private and public land use restrictions. So if they're asking you about public restrictions, right, then it would be zoning or building codes, if it was public restrictions. Private is through a deed. It's where the seller restricts the buyer. So the property is yours as long as you keep it for, remember yesterday, hospital use? Property is yours as long as, right? So that's a private restriction. It's the seller telling the buyer what they can do with the property. Or today, the property is the second wife's until she dies. When she dies, it goes to the children. So the seller, Ezra, or the grantor, Ezra, remember, he restricted the second wife's ownership for her lifetime. It was a life estate, right? So there was a restriction. You guys got it? Correct answer is deed, private stuff. 25. The use of subtle means. There's a very similar question to this in the state exam. The use of subtle means to induce buyers to settle in neighborhoods the broker thinks appropriate is known as, so I think you fit here in this neighborhood. That's what we're saying. It's known as blockbusting, redlining, bird dogging, or steering. The subtle use, or the use of subtle means to induce buyers to settle in certain neighborhoods that the broker thinks is appropriate is known as, this is chapter 4. Chapter 4. All right, all right. It looks like we got unanimous decision again. Except for Janine that went R. We don't have, Janine, we only have 4. We have A, B, C, or D. R is not an answer here, okay? So, correct answer is D, steering. Blockbusting is scaring people into selling their homes, right? Redlining is refusing to insure or lend. Bird dogging is just me asking you, hey, if you find any deals, let me know, and I'll pay you for that, which is illegal. And steering is taking you to a particular neighborhood or away from a neighborhood just because I feel you'll fit better in that type of neighborhood, okay? So steering, D as in David, is the correct answer. Chapter 4. 26. A mortgage broker, 10 more minutes, guys. 10 more minutes, I'll give you a quick break. Just breathe, all right? Some of you look like you're sweating already. Some of you are getting a headache already, all right? We're almost there. A mortgage broker usually offers what service? Mortgage broker offers what service? If it's broker, think about it. If it's broker, just like us, for real estate, then what do? A, they handle closing procedures. B, they bring borrower and lender together. C, they provide initial funding. Or D as in David, they sell mortgages on secondary market. Mortgage broker. Correct answer is all right. The majority of you are answering B as in boy. We got an A and we have a D. Got 2 A's now. 3 A's. All right. Correct answer, guys, because it's a broker. What is a broker? Chapter 3, we talked about brokers, right? And in Chapter 16, we also talked about brokers in the market. So brokering is being in the middle between somebody that has a product to sell and somebody that wants to buy their product. So what are we doing when we broker? We're matchmaking, okay? When you broker, you matchmake. In this case, the lender has a product to sell, which is the loan. The borrower wants that product, the loan. So brokers put them together. Correct answer is B as in boy. Mortgage brokers do not handle closing. Title company and attorneys do. Mortgage brokers do not provide initial funding. Mortgage bankers do. Okay, that's the difference. It said broker, and I focused on broker. They don't sell mortgages on the secondary market. The one that provides the initial funding can sell in the secondary market. Okay? You guys got it? All right. You were thinking real estate broker the whole time. I didn't see your answer. But again, if we see broker, it's handling 2 sides. Brokering a deal, mediating, okay? 27. It says a broker receives commission only if she produces a buyer before someone else sells the property. She is probably working under what type of listing? Stop and listen again. The broker receives commission only if she produces a buyer before someone else sells the property. So is it possible that there's more brokers? Is it possible there's another person that could bring a buyer? Right? What type of listing is this? A, we have open listing. Kathy, come on. Close the book. Open listing, net listing, exclusive right to sell listing, or exclusive agency listing. What do we got? Open listing, net listing, exclusive right to sell listing, or exclusive agency listing. Kathy, you got no excuse now. I did zoom out in the screen just for you. All right. There's a few of you not answering yet. This one that by now should be easy. Okay, let's go at it again real quick. A broker, so let's say it's me. I only receive commission if I bring a buyer before anyone else does. That means you're not committed. You, the seller, is not committed to me or to anybody else. It's whoever brings a buyer. In which one of these, right, do I fit in? What kind of listing do I have if we're not committed to anything? Hey, I gave you the 3 comparisons, remember? Open listing, exclusive agency, or exclusive right to sell. I gave you 3 comparisons, right? One of them is open relationship. The other one is you're engaged, and the other one is you're married. Myra, come on, doesn't have to be like that. Jeez. Open relationship, not married. Fine, you marry whenever you want to marry, it's fine. All right. Janine, yes, it was. 26 was B. Yep. All right, guys. Open listing or open relationship is where we're not committed to anyone. So as a seller, you knock on several brokers' doors and you try to build a relationship with all of them. And whoever brings you a buyer is whoever gets paid. Exclusive agency or exclusive right to sell, then only one agency is allowed to sell the property or list the property. Okay? Here it says before someone else. So we're saying that there's more than one. Okay? It's not saying before the seller finds somebody, it says before someone else sells the property. So there's multiple agents or brokers trying to sell your property. Catherine, exclusive right and exclusive agency are the same thing? To one extent, yes. To the fact that it's only one agency selling, yes. The difference is in exclusive agency, if you find a buyer without the agent's assistance, then you don't have to pay the agency. Here, no matter what, you have to pay the agency. 28. 28. This is chapter 17. Investors will sometimes borrow money to make a real estate purchase. Investors will sometimes borrow money to make a real estate purchase. This practice is called bulk transfer, an exchange, leverage, or pyramiding. So bulk transfer, exchange, leverage, or pyramiding. Borrowing money instead of buying it all outright. It's called David, that was good. Why would I put all my money into something? Isn't it best to split my money to several investments versus just one? So that means that I put a portion of my money in order to buy the property, and the bank gives me the bulk of the money. That's the loan. What is this called? Is it bulk transfer, exchange, leverage, or pyramiding? That's a great answer, Janine. Chapter 17. Ugh. Great answer. All right, and the correct answer, guys, you ready? Correct answer is C as in Charles, leverage. Leverage is putting a portion of something in order to get something bigger. So we're leveraging by putting a little bit of money and borrowing money from somebody else. So other people put more money than we do, and we still get to purchase. Okay? Leverage, chapter 17. All right, 29. Right before the break, we go back to chapter 4, 29. A broker listing a house may be guilty of discrimination for purposely not mentioning the house to. I know you cannot read, so I'm going to read for you, right? A broker listing a house may be guilty of discrimination for purposely, I did it on purpose, not mentioning the house to A, qualified Hispanic home buyers, B, qualified black home buyers, C, qualified white home buyers, or D, any of the above. It's discrimination if I, on purpose, do not mention the house to who? This one should be easy for the break. For the break, come on. Sandra, what's ED? Raquel, we're on 29. You just answered 30. Blank. There's nothing else. Oh, you're getting ready, so you're already putting the... Okay, got it. All right, so broker listed a house, right? And is practicing discrimination for purposely not mentioning the house to who? Trickier, right? Because then you can be called racist if you answer something wrong here. Are you racist against the Hispanics, the black, the white? Who are you discriminating? Some of you did not answer yet. What do we got? All right. Moving forward, so I can give you guys that break that you guys desire so much. Correct answer is D as in David, any of the above. Guys, if they're qualified, it doesn't matter if they're Hispanic, black, or white. If you don't mention to either one of them, right? If you don't mention, then it's discrimination, period. If they're qualified to buy, then you have to announce it. Simple. You guys got it? We're good? All right. Gonna take a 7-minute break. 7:40, we're here. 7:40. Go for it. All right, everybody there?